In May 2026, President Donald Trump announced that American and Nigerian forces had carried out a high-risk operation deep inside Africa and eliminated one of the world's most wanted ISIS leaders. The target, Abu Bilal al-Minuki. Trump described him as the most active terrorist in the world and the second in command of ISIS globally. The operation marked one of the most significant counterterrorism missions in Africa in years. But who exactly was Abu Bilal al-Minuki? Why had ISIS shifted so much attention toward Africa? And could this operation actually weaken the growing extremist threat across the Sahel? Tonight, we examine the rise of ISIS in Africa, America's evolving role in Nigeria, how the operation unfolded, and whether killing one leader can really stop a global terror network. By 2019, the territorial caliphate of Islamic State in Iraq and Syria had largely collapsed. Its leader, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, was killed in a U.S. raid. Many believed ISIS had been defeated, but the organization adapted. Instead of controlling giant territories in the Middle East, ISIS expanded through regional affiliates. And one of the fastest-growing areas became Africa. ISIS-linked factions appeared in Nigeria, Niger, Mali, Somalia, Mozambique, the Congo. Security analysts increasingly warned that Africa could become the future center of global jihadist activity. Nigeria had already faced Islamist insurgency for more than a decade. The most infamous group was Boko Haram. Founded in the early 2000s, Boko Haram launched brutal attacks across northeastern Nigeria. The conflict killed tens of thousands and displaced millions. Eventually, parts of Boko Haram aligned with ISIS. That branch became known as Islamic State West Africa Province, or ISWAP. Unlike the original ISIS caliphate in Syria and Iraq, these African affiliates often blended guerrilla warfare, smuggling, local alliances, rural insurgency, and over time, they became increasingly sophisticated. According to U.S. officials, Abu Bilal al-Minuki was one of ISIS's most important leaders operating in Africa. The U.S. government had already designated him a global terrorist in 2023. Reports linked him to ISIS operations across West Africa, logistics and financing, coordination between regional ISIS branches, and planning attacks in the Sahel region. Trump later claimed al-Minuki served as ISIS's global second-in-command. Analysts say figures like al-Minuki helped transform ISIS in Africa from scattered militants into interconnected regional networks, and that made him a major target. According to statements from both Washington and Abuja, the operation was carried out jointly by U.S. forces and the Nigerian military. The mission reportedly occurred in northeastern Nigeria near the Lake Chad Basin, a region known for insurgent activity. Trump described it as meticulously planned and very complex. Nigerian officials later confirmed that multiple ISIS figures were killed, no Allied casualties were reported, and intelligence cooperation played a critical role. Some reports suggested drone surveillance, air assets, special operations support were involved, but many operational details remain classified. For ISIS, Africa offers several strategic advantages. Large regions suffer from weak state control, poverty, smuggling routes, political instability, ethnic conflict, and limited government presence. That creates opportunities for insurgent groups to recruit fighters, hide leadership, launch attacks, generate revenue. The Sahel region especially has become one of the world's fastest-growing extremist hotspots. Groups linked to both ISIS and al-Qaeda now operate across enormous stretches of territory. Some experts warn that Africa could become even more important to ISIS than the Middle East once was. Throughout both of his presidencies, Trump emphasized aggressive counterterrorism operations. His administration frequently highlighted drone strikes, special forces raids, leadership targeting. Supporters argue this strategy weakened extremist organizations by disrupting command structures. Critics argue that killing leaders alone rarely eliminates the deeper causes of insurgency. Still, leadership decapitation operations remain central to modern counterterrorism doctrine. Trump framed the Nigeria mission as proof that ISIS remained vulnerable even after spreading globally. That is the key question. Historically, extremist groups often survive leadership losses. ISIS itself survived. The death of al-Baghdadi Major, defeats in Iraq and Syria, multiple international coalitions. Why? Because these organizations are decentralized. Regional branches can continue operating even after senior commanders die. Some analysts believe killing al-Minuki could disrupt coordination, slow recruitment, damage morale, create internal power struggles. Others warn ISIS affiliates in Africa remain deeply rooted in local conditions. And unless governments address corruption, poverty, governance failures, and insecurity, new leaders may simply emerge. For 2 decades, global counterterrorism focused heavily on Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria. But security experts increasingly believe the center of jihadist activity is shifting southward into Africa. Countries across the Sahel now face cross-border insurgencies, collapsing rural security, expanding extremist influence. International powers, including the United States, France, Russia, and regional African governments, are all competing to shape the future of the region. The operation against al-Minuki may signal that Washington sees Africa as a growing front in the global fight against terrorism. The death of Abu Bilal al-Minuki may become remembered as a major counter-terrorism victory, or it may become just another chapter in a much longer war. Because modern extremist movements are rarely defeated by one raid, one drone strike, or one leader's death. The deeper battle involves governments, economies, communities, and ideology itself. Still, the operation demonstrated something important. ISIS leaders can still be hunted, even in some of the world's most remote conflict zones. And as Africa becomes increasingly central to global security, the struggle unfolding in Nigeria and the Sahel may shape the future of counterterrorism for years to come. Recent reports from Reuters, CBS, ABC, and other outlets say Trump and Nigerian officials confirmed the operation against Abu Bilal al-Minuki on May 16, 2026.